welcome. It's an absolutely terrific crowd of people, friends of the firm, clients of the firm, who've come to see us this morning. We're incredibly grateful. And really welcome to what is the 14th year of Edelman's Trust Barometer Survey. Let me very briefly give you some hard data on the UK numbers. The public associate any economic upturn with business and they trust government less and less. Leaders, whether they're CEOs or political leaders, continue to experience a trust deficit. And we've seen with the financial services sector that engagement and positive action can shift trust levels dramatically.
The big story this year is actually the need for business to set the context for change. That change cannot be led by government.
It seems clear to me that in spite of recent improvements, the relationship between business and society remains fractured. Last year's horse meat scandal in Europe was reminiscent of the Chinese baby milk scandal in 2008. And both incidents were born of the same short-sighted greed that characterized Chicago's meatpacking district at the turn of the 20th century. Humans are, of course, notoriously bad at learning from their mistakes. The acknowledgement and study of failure is the most effective mechanism for learning. But in my experience, both governments and businesses are often too reluctant to admit that things have gone wrong.
There is a problem, I think a major problem, in the political culture of today, that if in government anything goes wrong, you are in front of the relevant parliamentary committee and you're an idiot. It's gone wrong, why were you asleep on the job, why didn't you do this, why wasn't that right? And that creates an environment either of an unwillingness to take risks or of, a desire to present everything as a success, even if it isn't a success.
For business leaders preoccupied with quarterly results, it's tempting simply to let things take their course. Some of the executives I speak to are resigned to having no control over how people feel about business. But that only serves to exacerbate their difficulties and to reinforce these damaging cycles of anti-business sentiment.
How trusted are your leaders? One of the sadnesses for business is that trust in leaders is actually diminishing trust in business.
Leaders should examine deeply the purpose of their business activity. Every company should clearly define the contribution it makes to society, which extends beyond the merely financial.
If business really wants to be trusted, there should be at least some examples of an industry group being the first out the door to say, there is a problem here, we've researched it, we've looked at it, we are going to propose what the regulation should be. And we're going to do that before the NGOs or before the government, or we're going to argue for tighter regulation because we, as the responsible members of business, know that that will be good for the business operators.
We rely on technology more than ever, which makes us increasingly vulnerable to its failures.
I think that the privacy issue is absolutely the make or break for the tech industry in the next 3 years. And this issue must be kind of cultivated with the vox populi. Do you want to be safe? Well, there is a trade-off here with do you want to have privacy? And that has to be established.
I'm incredibly grateful for their time. I'm very grateful for their insights and thank you very much for coming this morning.